More people get in who actually got stuck in traffic left behind. But for now, I'm very glad you made it. I hope you have the possibility to grab your first morning coffee, enjoy the introductions, and are ready for the first session. I'm very glad to have you all here. So today for the session, I'm going to be speaking about 4 must-haves for starting your road basically on the business process digitization without breaking the bank. So I hope I'll be able to share some interesting insights. I'll be starting off with a brief introduction to get to know each other just quickly. Then I'll be starting with the first topic. So what are the business challenges to tackle when getting started? So what is the thing to start with, the most important topics? So then we'll move on to the qualities of the technology. So to start your road on the digital transformation, process digitization, obviously the technology is going to make a difference. So what qualities do you want the technology to bring to help you with your road to digitization? So next point is going to be how to acquire the technology without breaking the bank. I mean, obviously, software doesn't always come cheap, so it is important to get something without breaking the bank. There's a few quick wins I want to share with you to think about along the way, and then we'll have a brief summary and also room for questions. Although actually, since we're in the small room, I think we can hear each other and communicate. So if there are any urgent questions along the way, I would say raise your hand, interrupt, and I think we can make it interactive and do some questions while we go. So for starters, who am I? My name is Mark Mulder. I'm here today with WEBCON. A few words about WEBCON in a moment. I've been doing business process automation and digitization for about 15 years in different roles, different positions. I come from a background of e-commerce and ERP. I've been on both the customer side and the vendor side, so I've seen a lot of different perspectives when it comes to automating and digitizing business processes. The last 3 years, I've been with WEBCON in the world of low-code business process automation. What that is and what that can do for you, we'll get to throughout the presentation. So who is WEBCON? I imagine not everybody is familiar. I do see a couple of faces that have attended here last year. So we've been here last year for a few sessions. So a few people will know what WEBCON is and have seen it actually in action live. We're a company that's been around for 18 years, a company based out of Poland, but active worldwide, so in all of Europe, North America mostly. Over 950 clients, and we operate through a network of 70 partners. And I think for today we can safely say we can forget about 69 of those, because today obviously all that matters is you, we will know, and we very much appreciate as a skilled, knowledgeable partner in Romania for process automation digitization. So before we get started, a few things. The presentation is going to be made available, so feel free to take notes, pictures, videos, whatever you please. Just know that the slides and everything will be sent out to everybody after the presentation, so you're going to have access to that. As I mentioned, let's make the session interactive. If you feel like asking a question, just raise your hand, shout out, and we can make it interactive for today. If you do have a question, and maybe it's going to take a bit longer, or you want to have a conversation, we are at the booth in the expo with WEBCON for today and tomorrow all day long. So if you want to discuss something afterwards, please come over, say hi, and let us know what kind of topics you're dealing with, and we can see if we can mean anything for you through FFTU, of course. So besides this session, there's a few more sessions that might be interesting. So if this session on how to get started with business process automation has your interest and touches on some topics you're also dealing with, later on today at 12, there's going to be a session, a case study done by Timisoara City Hall. They have, based on WEBCON, automated and digitized a lot of processes, and they'll be speaking about their experiences. And I always say, that I, as a vendor from WEBCON, will tell you that WEBCON is great is pretty obvious. But to have our customer tell you the story means a lot more, right? So that might be interesting. So for my session, I'm going to be touching on how to basically start on your road to digitization. Tomorrow at 10, there's going to be another session from WEBCON on how to manage digitization once you've scaled up. So once you have dozens, hundreds of processes, how do you keep on top of maintenance and sort of coordinating all those processes that are now digitized? So that might be interesting. And then there's going to be another one to close the event tomorrow at 4. So keep your eye on the agenda. If this has your interest, there's going to be more about WEBCON. So going into the matter of today, I would like to start with a quote, not a very happy one, to be honest, from McKinsey. They state that only 1 in 200 IT projects actually delivers on time, within the budget, with the expected benefits. So on average, all IT projects will exceed their budgets. Usually they take too long and they don't generate the value that people expected. So being at the IT Congress, this is probably not a very happy, colorful picture to start with, but it's a reality we're living in. And for today, I would like to show you that there is another way to try to be one of the 200, or at least very close to one of the 200, and not part of the majority where everything takes too long and doesn't actually deliver on the premise, and on the way costs you $1 billion. So the business problems worth solving first. So when it comes to digitization or digital transformation, I think we can be pretty clear that this is a proven success. This is something that brings benefits because you can work faster, you can automate manual tasks, you have information available at all times, you reduce the amount of error. So I think everything is looking pretty good when it comes to digitization, digital transformation. So if everybody is so clear that this is something positive, why are there still so many processes in emails, on paper, in Excel files? And I speak to the most technologically advanced companies, huge corporations in Germany, and you will always see that there is still a lot of processes happening manually. So why is not everything digitized? So it is because a digital transformation isn't easy. It's something very difficult. It's not one thing, so you can't just say we will hire a guy to do our digital transformation, or we start a new department and they're going to take care of it, and we'll give them 2 years to digitize, and then we're going to be all digitized. So if I ask anybody, how do you successfully do a digital transformation, there is no simple answer to the question, right? What is important here? First of all, what are the actual challenges you're dealing with? So what are the sort of topics you're trying to tackle? So it's usually manual processes. So things happening in Excel files that are on somebody's personal laptop, where you have a set of information that's being gathered, Excel files being passed around, but there's no control. There's no central overview of what's happening. People don't know what task is with them at the moment, and when their colleague is at play, and if I'm on sick leave, then who's taking over my stuff. And this is costing huge amounts of time. It's also repetitive tasks, the administrative overhead, so it's not just what I'm doing, but all the sort of administration that needs to go on along the side, taking up a lot of time. And these are processes that there's a lot of them, especially because there's a lot of these processes, it ends up being a huge bulk of time. So I'll get to what type of processes we're thinking about, and I guess you'll be able to recognize those. Because there's no coordination, there's inconsistency. So people do things in a slightly different way, even though maybe they got the same email with the explanation about how to handle your process, but they interpret it slightly different, so it becomes very difficult to report on and get information out of. So that's the starting point. So then, when it comes to digital transformation, it's very important to realize that it's not one thing, it's not a big bang, it's not, I will buy SAP, then I'm going to be all digitized and everything is taken care of. It's not one big project. It's a marathon. It's many small projects, starting with the most crucial ones and then keeping going until you have all your processes digitized. So don't expect a sprint, right? Don't expect you to solve digitization in one go. Be prepared to stay in there for the long game, to deliver value quickly, but be prepared that it's going to take you a while to get through all the things you need digitized. So the thing, paralysis for analysis, is something I actually use pretty often because I recognize it very, very well from when I was in projects. What you see when you want to do a big project, you're spending a lot of money. If you're buying an ERP system, expensive solution, it's going to take you a year to implement. And you know that we need to get it right? Because this is such an investment. So we need to start analyzing our processes, all of them. So we're going to sit down and do workshops, and we'll be analyzing and analyzing and analyzing for 9 months. During all that analysis, you're not actually delivering any value yet, right? You're just analyzing, speaking to each other, and you sort of get stuck there. Before you actually go live with something, you are a year down the road, and since it's been so long, you'll figure out that when you actually go live, your process is already changing, outdated, so it doesn't work. So you need to be able to deliver value for the business fast, right? You don't want to have a 9-month waiting time before you can actually give your users something. So you want to move way, way quicker here. They need to be aware of the resources you have. If we all had 100 developers, a huge IT team to build all our applications, we probably wouldn't be here because everything would be taken care of, right? So if you just have a limited set of resources, you need to make sure you get the best out of those resources. Well, maybe last but not least, you need to be able to scale up. Like I said, if you want to start small, that's great, deliver value fast. But like I said, it's a marathon, so you need to be able to not just deliver one process application and then another one a year later, another one another year later. You need to start small and then pick up speed and really get digitizing at speed. So what are the qualities of the technology? So there's a lot of ways to acquire technology. So there's a few sort of main ways I would like to touch on today. Most importantly, during digitization, always keep your focus on actual business benefits. So, of course, especially being at the IT Congress with a lot of high-tech, AI and ChatGPT are going wild with all the buzz around it, but never acquire technology because of the technology, because it is currently super hot and everybody's talking about it. It's the business benefits you need to keep in mind, right? So what do your people on the floor actually need? What are they actually doing on a day-to-day basis? And how can I deliver actual value to them? If the answer to that is AI, great. Probably you might want to consider some different options before you make your decision, but always focus on the business benefits. So find a technology that works for you. So, as mentioned, there are different ways to acquire technology, and I would just like to identify a few. So, you can buy something off the shelf, right? I have a process, I want to digitize my invoice approval process, my contract management process with my customers, and I'll just buy something off the shelf. Pay a certain amount of money, get it up and running, either in the cloud or on my own servers, get it installed, and then we're done, we have it, right? So there's a few problems with commercial off-the-shelf solutions. So first of all, they usually don't do exactly what you need, right? So you have a specific process, a specific wish. There is a software package that does something quite similar, but there's going to be a discrepancy, right? There's some of the things that you need that the software doesn't offer out of the box. And, well, you have to buy the whole program, and there's going to be a bunch of features in there that maybe you don't actually need, right? So on the one side, there's some stuff that you're actually missing, and on the other side, you're paying for some stuff that you don't actually use. So it's not a perfect fit. It can get pretty expensive, especially if you consider that, well, you buy a piece of process for or piece of software for specific processes. But you have a lot of processes over different departments throughout your entire company. So you're not just buying one piece of software, you're buying one for your first problem, and then for the second problem another one, and now you need to manage 10 different software packages working together, sort of digitizing. So that gets very complicated and very expensive. Of course, the software you're buying is available to anybody. So your competition, you can buy the same thing, you will never sort of get a competitive edge out of the solution because it's available to everybody. And you never know what the product is going to develop. What road are they going? Do they have the same visions as your company with their next updates and the features they'll be adding? Or are they going to spin off in a different direction and maybe tell you that we're not going to support on-prem anymore because we're going in the cloud, or the other way around? Does that match your company's needs? You don't know. So there's a question mark there, right? So that makes it a bit tricky in some cases. For other cases, it might be the perfect solution, right? This is not saying that there's no value in standard software packages. There is, but it's not for all cases. So what are the alternatives? Well, we can just get some developers on board, and we'll have them build the exact thing that we need. Possibility, and in some cases might be the best solution, maybe not in every case, maybe not when it comes to process automation. Because, well, if you want to develop something, you're going to be dependent on very highly skilled and poorly available developers. So, like I said, if your company has 100 developers available to you on, full-time employment, you're probably going to be covered and they'll build you anything you need, but they're going to be extremely expensive. And usually the great developers, they will get picked off by tech corporations because there is such a huge demand for developers. Also, if you develop something from scratch, it's going to take some time before you can actually deliver something. It's complex, it needs to be built before you can actually use it. So delivering business value quickly is probably going to be an issue. Because of those factors, it will get extremely expensive. It also means that, well, the upkeep is on you. If you buy something that you just get updates rolled out to you, if you build it yourself, well, you're also going to be the one that's taking care of it. And if you digitize the business process, there's the process you need, but then you want to have it to be scalable, it needs to be secure, you want to have it being auditable, you want to have reporting possibilities, you want to have a dashboard where you can get the overview. So if you build it yourself, all of those additional things you will also have to build. So not a perfect solution for every scenario either. So then there's another way of acquiring software, low code, which I like to sort of picture by Lego for building applications. So you build your own custom applications, but you don't have to do the coding. You don't have to be a .NET Java programmer to build an application. It is very visual with an easy user interface, so it's much more acceptable for somebody who is not a high-skilled developer. So I don't know if low code is something you're familiar with, who is already working with some form of low code. So I see one hand, okay. So that might be the correct audience to speak to. So what are the benefits of working with low code? As I mentioned, it's going to be tailor-made, because it's still going to be something built for your specific scenario. Exactly what you need, nothing more, nothing less. It's easy because it's, it doesn't need to be Java developers, .NET developers. If you are in IT, some affinity with IT, let's say a business analyst, for example, you can deliver applications using low-code technology. So that's a big plus. It's quick to deliver. So instead of doing a 9-month analysis, being paralyzed, not actually delivering something, you can get solutions delivered to your business in a matter of weeks. And then take the most important process where you're losing the most time, get that one out, get them some value, and then keep working on the next ones and delivering them at speed. So, well, then I guess the conclusion is that low code is the way to go, right? The goose with the golden eggs. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Like I said, with any buzzword or AI or ChatGPT, I always like the question, is that actually it? So the same thing with low code. It's another one of those buzzwords. It's been extremely popular over the last couple of years, and there's a lot of different low code platforms. And not all of them are built equally. So some low code platforms, I would say, is something that makes it slightly easier for a developer to build something, but you still need to think and be a developer to be able to use it. There's a lot of different kind of platforms. So the qualities you need in a platform, you need to have something that doesn't require sort of big bang implementation. So you need to have something that allows you to start small and quick and then keep doing small steps until you are fully digitized. So the platform needs to support this from the ground up. So it needs to embrace continuous improvement. Even if you look at the first process you start with, let's say your contract management process, right? You have a contract with a supplier, a customer, that goes through different stages, right? You need to negotiate the contract. Internally, there's going to be a couple of people involved in the negotiations. You need to write up a draft. You need to get in touch with your customer. You have a contract that has a specific life cycle. Somebody is responsible for that. 1 month before the contract runs out, you need to contact the customer. So there's actually a lot of moving parts within that. And by the time you get it digitized, 2 weeks later, the user is going to come to you and say, well, actually, we need some things to be changed. Because now that we're working with it, maybe we can improve it here, or there's new legal requirements, so we need to change the process. So you need to have a platform that embraces the continuous improvement, and so you can keep very easily evolving those applications. But it needs to be usable by a non-developer. So get an IT business analyst, for example, that's never written 1 line of code in his life, put them on the platform and see if they can work with it. That should empower the business, and well, the type of the presentation is that it shouldn't cost $1 million, so that's also something to keep in mind. So what are the sort of key features that WEBCON delivers that gets our customers up to speed? So it's doing digital signatures, for example, so processes where documents need to be signed manually, which is taking a lot of time. Actually, the mayor of Timișoara is a great example because, well, they have a huge amount of processes where the mayor is the end responsible for signing something, and he did a massive amount of document signing manually. So being able to do it digitally and sign documents in bulk might sound pretty trivial, but it saves them a huge amount of time. So that's something to keep in mind. Doing things like OCR for invoice approval processes. I get an email with an invoice, it's OCR, assigned to the right people, ticked off, payment handled, all the checks that need to be done automatically performed, speed up really by a lot. Approval processes, and then sort of having built-in features with the platform, like auditability, because you want all your business processes to be registered, auditable, taken care of, so you can look back at what's been going on, what we've been doing, what has, who has approved what at which point. Things like document management and contract management.
Sorry,
sure.
Can you give an example for substitutions? What you mean?
So substitutions, if I'm going to be out of the office, I'm going to take a holiday, I'm on a sick leave, and there's processes where I'm responsible for signing off something, right? And so you can redirect it to other people, and that's something built into WEBCON as a platform. So actually, when I go on a holiday, I immediately tell the platform who is going to be taking over while I'm out. And could actually be multiple people. So if I'm responsible for different processes, I can say, well, for this processes, he is taking over, and for another set of processes, my other colleague is taking over while I'm gone. And while I'm on holiday, if I get a task, this platform automatically redirects the task to the people I assign, so processes don't stop working when somebody is not in the office. So that's the substitutions. So that's just one of the things that comes with the platform we deliver. And that is very important. It's a platform. Our vision is to be an application factory. So in the sense that you are able to deliver at scale and at speed, pushing those applications out at great speed is very important. So because it's a platform, everything also works together. Like I said, if you buy commercial off-the-shelf software, you buy 10 different solutions, they're not compatible. They look different, they're not integrated with each other, so you have different solutions living on islands. While with our platform, everything is automatically integrated, interconnected with each other, so everything works together. Of course, the consistency you get, everything looks pretty similar, so if you've worked with one process, you will very easily get a hang of the other process. So this means also training of end users. You can save a lot of time because if you train a user for one process, they know what the rest looks like. And if they need to take over somebody's job while they're on a holiday, they know what the platform works like. So focus on processes and business logic that add actual value. Like I said, don't do it for the technology or the buzzword, but look at where the actual value is for you. If you know one application, you know them all. And it also means that updating the platform as a whole takes care of all the processes you have within the platform. If you have 10 different solutions, they will all have their own updates, their own life cycle, their own help desk to call if something isn't working, so it adds a lot of complexity. So the important benefits, going through a couple of stages. So first of all, you get something digitized. Once it's digital, you can start automating certain things. So maybe just the checks you're doing now manually can be automated and taken care of by the platform, actually taking work out of your hands. You can speed up, you get transparency, and because of the transparency, you can actually analyze your processes and start optimizing them, because now you see how long do people actually take on their tasks. Are things moving forward? Are they running into issues? While things are stuck in email discussions or Excel files being sent back and forward, you're never going to be able to get the information out of those processes to see where the pain points are, right? So that's what the platform allows you to do. And looking at some numbers from our clients, so I realize that these are very, very pretty numbers and promising everybody a 97% reduction, I would be lying. These are actual numbers though, so the satisfaction rate when it comes to digitizing internal and external processes, how much optimization, how much room for improvement there is very, very, very real. So how do you acquire the technology without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, like if you would be buying commercial off-the-shelf software for everything? So again, you need to have something where you can start small and then expand, embrace continuous improvement, and deliver immediately. So to show some numbers from our clients on their road of somebody wants to join in?
Yes.
So this is one of our clients, Wood, which is a huge construction contractor. So they started working with WEBCON some time ago, 2014. So they've invested some effort into getting people trained, getting them to know the platform, and as you can see, once they got the hang of it, being 5-6 years down the road, they've delivered over 80 process applications. So these are processes throughout all departments and in their business of building. We are talking about accessing or actually judging a plot of land before they buy the land. So they build offices, shopping malls, these kind of things. So they need to look at a plot of land, have it assessed by a group of people and see if it's actually fit. So once they decide to go with it, then the whole process of building, and again, they will have certain enterprise software, even if you're talking about construction, those are all in place, but all the manual processes that are sort of around the enterprise software, they started doing those in WEBCON. So settlements with subcontractors. Because obviously in construction you're working with a lot of subcontractors taking care of things, so warranty agreements, a huge amount of contracts to be managed. So having everything centrally organized, digital in one place was a huge advantage for them.
I have a question.
Sure.
So if you have a client like Worldwide, in constructions, do you have also specialists, or you hire specialists to mingle them together to be able to understand their business and then to do the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Fields and maybe you don't have the experts to do it, and then what do you do? hire them, or do you
There's a few
train them, or?
Yeah, and so there's a few different possibilities. That's very important because we provide the platform, but building the actual applications, who does that? There's a few options. So first of all, because it's easy and it's low code, they can use their resources. So we have an academy program that you can go through, get certified as we will do the updates, the next version of the process, and then maybe the second process we're working on. We'll try to do it with our own people, and we'll consult with you along the way. So that's what I meant with actually being able to use the resources you have, right? So if you don't have the team of 50 Java developers to build it, but you do have some IT department, and in a lot of cases, actually, it's just internally 2, 3, 4 people involved in actually building those applications, even for large corporations, because it's so easy and you can deliver at speed. So who does the work? Should be you. The involvement of a partner is very much recommended, and also WEBCON has resources in the area of training and also in the area of delivering additional resources if you need to speed up more than you're able to do on your own. Perfect. So this is one example. We have another one here of a client working with WEBCON for 6 years, delivering 165 business applications, over 1,000 workflows, and over 900 new process instances done each and every single day, in this case with over 900 users. So our clients actually managed to start small and then really start delivering at speed. So they deliver because, well, actually we touched on it already, they deliver with the resources they actually have available, then they enable those people to deliver. Besides actually the IT people, your business user is also very important, and we tried very hard and we add a lot of features into the platform to get the key users from the business engaged in the process, because IT is traditionally the party that's building the application for the business, but usually the cooperation between the two is not fantastic because they sort of speak a different language, a different mentality, they have their own sort of targets and deadlines and goals to work towards. So we have a lot of features in the platform to get those business users engaged into delivering new processes as well. Get the platform to do the heavy lifting, right? So all the stuff the platform delivers, the reporting, dashboard, the fact that everything works together, scalability, substitutions, the fact that it's accessible on mobile devices, through Outlook, through Teams, is all stuff you get from the platform. So every process you build, that is simply always there, so you don't need to care about it. Everything works together, and no more software selection. That's another thing. If you're in IT and you need a piece of software, you will know the process that your boss will tell you to look what is available. You need to go to 7 different vendors, have sessions with them, see what is the best fit. So if you go down the road of commercial off-the-shelf software, a lot of time goes into those software selection processes. So if you have a platform where you know I can build exactly what I need, you don't need to do all those selection processes because you know you have a platform you can work with. So what sort of processes to start with? And along the way we've touched on actually a few of them already. But usually most clients start with sort of back office processes because usually there are a lot of those, there's quite a lot of people involved, and it's a good starting point. Sorry?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it could be HR processes, onboarding, offboarding, leave registrations, business trip settlements. These sort of processes are usually still very manual, very email-based Excel files. Financial invoice approval is, I think, one of the most popular ones. So you get an invoice, it needs to be checked by different departments, assigned to cost centers internally, approved, and then paid for. Also, actually, in a lot of cases, a lot of room for automation and digitization to save time. I think in operational legal agreements and contracts are the one that a lot of our clients do and save huge amounts of time. So instead of working on paper and Excel files, you will get a neat application that helps you throughout the way. And in this case, a vacation schedule, you get reporting and dashboards. And well, I think at this point, it's time to get to the elephant in the room, because I've been telling you, you don't need to spend $1 million on acquiring technology. If anybody of you is involved in enterprise software, acquiring the SAPs and everything, you know that the $1 million figure is not something I made up. That's the actual amount you pay for those kind of software. So in our case, the licensing is, there's a few possibilities. This is the most common one based on the amount of users. So for actually €4, you can have a user working with one application. As I mentioned, you want to scale up. You will not have one business process, you will have more. But this allows you to start small, so you don't need to immediately put up a large investment. You can start very small. The €14 figure is for an unlimited amount of processes and applications. So once you get to actually 3 processes, it's pretty much worth going for the second version, and that gets your user access to any amount of processes. So that's basically where it stops. It doesn't get any more expensive than that. Actually, if you buy at bulk in quantity, there is discounts. If you go over 100 or over 1,000 licenses, the number goes down even further. But that allows you to digitize at speed. So there's no additional complication about how much processes am I doing, or I don't know, how much web services am I using to call external systems, or how large is the database at the moment, which is sometimes very difficult to predict. It's a very clear model. If you know how many people are going to be working with these processes and how many processes do we have, you know exactly what it's going to be costing. So it's a very simple model. If you would like to discuss in more detail what the possibilities are, then please come over to the booth and we can look at the different options.
Is it hosted or on-prem?
You actually have the freedom. So the question was, is it hosted or is it on-prem? When it comes to hosting, you have the freedom to do whatever you please. You can run it on-prem on your own servers. If you work with a cloud provider, Azure, AWS, local provider, whatever, you can run it there if you want to do basically the maintenance of the platform yourself. If you would like to have WEBCON provided in the software as a service model, also fine. And it's one and the same platform. And you can even, if your company's strategy is cloud today and everything has to be in the cloud, and 2 years from now they will come to the realization that actually put it back on our servers because Azure prices are going through the roof, no problem. You can just migrate it, pick up the database, put it on your own server, and you're up and running. So no force from WEBCON there in a specific direction.
But it's web-based.
Accessing your processes is web-based, yeah.
But the cost is not inclusive of hosting. And database.
If you are running your own servers, or if you already have Azure that you're taking care of, then obviously there is no additional cost. If you would like WEBCON to deliver it in a software as a service, then unfortunately we also don't get the cloud services provided for free, so then obviously there's additional cost involved for getting the hosting set up. So that's so we can talk and then see for a specific scenario what it would end up like. But the 14 euro mark per user for digitizing at speed, I think is a good indication of what you'll end up paying. This is the moment.
One question. Is it complicated to upgrade the platform?
So the question was, is it complicated to upgrade the platform?
Last version to a new version.
So you already answered the question pretty much. If you're updating from the last version to the current version, it's very easy.
Last, not in the past.
That's where the
1 year difference.
1 year you're fine. If you did the update for 5 years and then you come back for an update, then of course there's going to be some more work to it, and we need to speak to each other about the exact upgrade path to a new version. But it is not rocket science, and since it's built as a platform, it's not like with, for example, your ERP system where you did some constant modification and then 2 years later you come for an upgrade. It is going to be super complicated. You need to do a lot of regression testing, so that is not the case here.
Because we wish to upgrade the platform.
And we very much encourage you as well to upgrade the platform.
But your partners know that?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yes, because we use this product. It's a
Mhm.
very good product, and all we present here is true.
That's good to hear.
Yes, because I know this product. But we have a problem with upgrade. We have a patent license and pay software assurance. And this is it's a problem not with your product. In general, it's a problem with pay patent license and software assurance.
So let's speak to each other. I just got the signal that I have 5 more minutes to wrap it up. So let's speak to each other because upgrading should not be a problem at all. So definitely let's speak to each other as well.
It's a very interesting
If it's okay, I'll just finish a few more slides and then we have a few more hours, otherwise we're going to miss out on lots of bits since the ladies over there look very threatening and they'll probably kick me out in a few minutes. Sorry, what I wanted to touch on here, the quick wins that come with the platform, right? You can lean upon the experience of other customers. We have a community where you get insight into what are other customers doing with the platform, how can we interact with them, ask them questions, and also between our partner network, we very much encourage sharing of knowledge. And if you actually have a process, you can export it and make it available to others. So others can just download your process, take it as a starting point, and use it within the company. Actually, we do the same thing. So there's a whole set of free applications that you can download. You can use them as a template and as a starting point for your own digitization. So that is something very important. And processes like a help desk ticketing system, onboarding processes, leave registration, business trip settlement. So you can just take a standard application. Probably you're going to want to make some modifications to make it your personal leave request or business trip settlement process. And these are just 6. There is over 20 of them available. So that is something. Use what's already there. Don't reinvent the wheel. Be in touch with the community and use the knowledge of our partners. So, summarizing the 4 points. Understand that a digital transformation, it's not one big bang. It's many small projects, many smaller steps. So use a method that allows you to tackle them one by one, start small, and then deliver at speed. Get a platform that does the heavy lifting for you, get a technology that matches you. Probably if you look at the whole software ecosystem you have, it's going to be a mix of some commercial off the shelf, maybe some development, and then for your business processes, maybe some low code. And use the power of the community and all those free application templates. So for the questions, we'll move to the questions. I'll just leave this on the screen. These are the other presentations that are still going to be touching on WEBCON. And then let's try to tackle some more questions before we're kicked out.
Can deliver like a software as a service in any cloud, or you use a specific cloud?
If we deliver it in the software as a service model, it's always going to be on Azure. Yeah, so we always work with, in that case, Microsoft Azure. So if we deliver the platform in a software as a service model, it's always going to be through Azure. Yeah. If you have your own cloud provider, you're free to go wherever you please.
But you can deliver like a software as a service.
Mm-hmm.
You can deliver in another cloud.
No, we don't. We don't, but if you want to use another one, set it up yourself, you're good to use whatever you please. Yeah.
I know. I already know.
Any more questions? Yes.
Do you have any partnerships with universities? And do you offer any solution for academic purposes?
Yes, we have actually quite a few universities working with the platform. They'll be on our website. We have actually a specific licensing model for universities. So the numbers that I've just shown you here, actually, if you're a university, there's a different model that basically separates. It's a fixed price model. So for students, there is one price. For internal users, there's one price. And then based on the size of the university and the amount of people, there's a fixed price. So for universities, the licensing model is a bit cheaper even with the amount of users. And it's one fixed amount. So if you have 150 students or 10,000 students today and 12,000 tomorrow, it's not going to make a difference for the licensing cost.
Yes, but strictly for academic purposes, for teaching, for examples, for case studies.
There is a set of case studies available with university. If you would be surprised to come to the booth, I can show you some of the universities we're working with and some of the experience they have with the platform. Yeah. All right, I'm getting the sign now that we need to make room for the next group. As I mentioned, the WEBCON booth, we're here today and tomorrow, so any questions, feel free to come over. Thank you so much for your attention and enjoy the rest of the event.